Shalom, beautiful people. All praise be to the Most High. Hallelujah. I hope that you are having a blessed day. Today is May 18th, 2024, and we are here live on the Moneypot YouTube channel. We've got a juicy live tonight, and I am excited to get into this topic of Bitcoin's adoption and how it being right now, ahora, Shenzai, okay? We've got a juicy live tonight, and I am excited. So, before I get too hyped up, the Moneypot channel is a library of educational content created from a biblical perspective. The content provided here is designed to improve viewers' knowledge of world economics and events, cryptocurrency, and much, much more. Please note that the information provided here on the Moneypot YouTube channel is not considered financial advice. Now that we've got this out the way, let's get into our live for tonight. As we're talking about the adoption of cryptocurrency from a mainstream level, we are seeing it happen here around the world. Shalom, sister. Shalom, shalom. If you have any questions, please just drop any comments, drop the comments. Like, dislike, share, subscribe, do what you do. We appreciate you. But we're going to be continuing to talk about how Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general is getting adopted on a massive level. I'm not going to be here long, but we're going to just briefly touch on and see some videos of this move towards a new financial system. And if you have not already, I would encourage you to request your free copy of the Future of Money cryptocurrency course so you can get a good foundation of understanding blockchain technology, cryptocurrency, and how to operate in this new financial system. So as we've been talking about throughout this month, really, we've been talking about cryptocurrency, and after the halving happened in April, we still haven't seen much price action from Bitcoin mainly. And with that being the case, listen, let me tell you, it's a process. As we look at how Bitcoin has moved over a period of time, we have to realize that after the halving, it takes a while for Bitcoin to reach a new high, so to say, or for it to reach new levels. So, we see the halving happen in 2020, but we didn't see new all-time high levels until 2021, and then again, in 2022, and then in 2024. So we have to be mindful of these cycles. The bull run cycle, honestly, it can last a very, very long time. It can last years. I think sometimes people think that bull runs can be just a week long or so. It takes a long time for price action to work itself out. And with these major announcements that we're seeing in the cryptocurrency space that we're going to talk about from a governmental perspective, it's only going to increase the adoption of financial institutions and getting them into blockchain technology. And that's really key because right now the cryptocurrency space is less than $3 trillion. And it's predominantly made up of solely retail investors. People like myself, or people who don't have over, we'll say, who don't meet the requirements of becoming an institutional investor, which is usually like millions of dollars of net worth. That is what the cryptocurrency space is made up of right now. And with that being the case, we have to realize that once this institutional money starts to flow into the cryptocurrency space, it is going to skyrocket. Certain cryptocurrencies are going to benefit a lot from all this institutional money. And when I say institutional money, I'm talking about the big boys. I'm talking about Chase. I'm talking about Bank of America, BlackRock, Fidelity. These are major institutions. Thank you. Hopefully not too much. Please let me know if that's better. If I need to adjust my audio in any way. But these are major institutions that have billions of dollars in assets under management, and they are all looking to get into cryptocurrency. We see them coming out with Bitcoin ETFs, and that is going to be a huge way for institutional money to get into the cryptocurrency space. So, looks like I need to invest in a new microphone. But we're going to keep on pushing because I don't have that microphone with me right now. So, like I was saying, the institutional investors are making their way into the cryptocurrency space. It is here, and adoption is about to become mainstream. I wish I had this graph of essentially the adoption cycle. So first you have your early adopters and innovators, and then you've got your mainstream adopters, which is the majority of the population. Then you have your laggards who come in at the end. We are about to hit the point to where cryptocurrency is going to become mainstream adopted, and also with mainstream adoption comes mainstream use. So this is going to be huge for the cryptocurrency space. So let's keep it pushing here as we see that the Bitcoin happening, it started in April. There's still a great opportunity for individuals to get in on these entry points for cryptocurrency. It's very important to have a strategy, and we'll talk about that here like we do on the Moneypot channel. But here's the main news that I wanted to cover. And this is from the Bitcoinist. So the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, has experienced another embarrassing setback as an anti-crypto bill proposed by the regulator has been completely shut down by the United States Senate. The Senate has shut down this anti-crypto bill that the SEC had proposed. Give me 1 second. I apologize for that. Someone is knocking at my door. Don't know who that is. They're not holding a package, so it is not important to me. Looks like a telemarketer. So we see that the Senate has basically struck down this anti-crypto bill that the SEC was trying to put forward. And we see that the bill is called, SAB 121, Staff Accounting Bulletin, which would basically be requiring financial institutions to be responsible for crypto assets of their clients and record these digital assets as liabilities on their balance sheet. This is problematic. And we see the chief legal officer of Ripple say this. And Ripple is one of the top 5-10 blockchain companies in the world. He says that it's an unauthorized overreach by the SEC. So, as we are, just continuing to see the United States having to deal with this, blockchain technology and cryptocurrency, we're going to start to see legislation being put on the books. And this resolution that the United States Senate actually approved is making its way to President Biden's desk right now. So they overturned Senate SAB 121, and this is a huge deal because it is striking down essentially what the SEC was looking to do with the financial institutions being custodians over cryptocurrency. And what this basically means is that with it being overturned, and now it's going to the president's desk, if he doesn't veto it, that essentially is going to allow for financial institutions to be custodians of customers' digital assets. This is huge. This is going to bring mainstream adoption to a whole nother level. To a whole nother level. We see here this meme. The banks are helping crypto out now. This is major for the adoption of digital currencies. And we see that the SEC has continued to take embarrassing losses. They have continued to overreach in their regulatory authority, and now the Senate is getting involved, and we're seeing now that they are losing power. It's a shame. It is a shame. But what does this mean? This means that potentially soon, cryptocurrency can be put in a custodian account at your local financial institution. That's huge. And I'll talk about this on another live, but there's a lot of benefits to utilizing crypto. You can, stake it. You can earn interest on your crypto. There's many use cases for cryptocurrency. And now with potentially financial institutions having access to being custodians, this is going to be massive. In the short term. Over the long term, I still hold my same beliefs as to cryptocurrency being involved and associated with somehow, shape, or form with the mark. But for the short term, this is huge because a lot more money is going to flow to the cryptocurrency space. So we see Cointelegraph, they put out this article saying Biden may rethink vetoing this crypto bill. This is a really big political topic nowadays. Bitcoin cryptocurrency is something that has a huge community behind it. And let's say that Biden decides to veto this bill, then the current standards are going to still stay in place, which is, the SEC overreaching. And then now Biden's losing support, which he already doesn't have. In regards to my reference, I won't go too deep into it. I do have some content on the Moneypot just about the mark of the beast. But as we read, and as I read Revelation, verses, I want to say 13 and 16, 13, 16. I have 13, 16, Revelation 13, 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. I just see cryptocurrency giving the Antichrist system that authority to not allowing people to buy or sell unless they have the mark, essentially. But we see here that crypto is continuing to push on. And I doubt that the Biden administration is not, that they're going to veto this, because they need all the political support that they can get right now. So we shall see. But let's take a look at this article and see what it says. The majority of lawmakers in the U.S. passed the CRA. So not only would Biden be vetoing it, but he'd also be vetoing something that Democrats were in favor of. We see that it passed with 60 to 38 votes. And this legislation, this resolution that was passed, we see Senator Loomis, who we're about to hear from. She says the vote represents a new milestone, since it was the first time that Congress passed a standalone crypto legislation. So that is really big. It's really big for the cryptocurrency space, and also for just this new financial system that is soon to be coming implemented. But let's see what Senator Loomis has to say here.
The Senate could have avoided this if SEC Chair Gary Gensler was willing to direct staff to revise Accounting Bulletin 121 to keep customer digital assets off the balance sheets of custodians and engage in a transparent process. Refusing to revisit this policy after bipartisan criticism is odd. The majority of the SEC staff accounting bulletins from the last 30 years have been revisions and rescissions of prior guidance. Revisiting and fixing accounting standards, especially when there's a new technology, is warranted and encouraged. Guidance is meant to be flexible. It is not meant to set policy, which would require notice and comment by those that will be regulated pursuant to that regulatory process. But apparently, Chairman Gensler would rather politicize accounting standards to achieve policy goals in the banking industry, an industry I'd like to remind him he does not regulate, rather than conduct a transparent policy-making process. Maybe it's because Chairman Gensler knows that putting customer assets on the balance sheet is bad policy that would garner enough support to finalize a rule, or rather would not garner enough support to finalize a rule. Maybe it's because he's committed to an ill-informed and unworkable fight against the digital asset industry at any cost.
So I liked how she ended that. He is fighting this fight against the digital asset industry at any cost, unfortunately. And, we got a little bit of insight from Senator Loomis when she says that, of course, the SEC is important in providing guidance, but this guidance is not meant to set policy. So what the SEC has been doing with suing Ripple, with suing other major blockchain companies, is just overreaching. I'm trying to say that their guidance is policy when it is not. So it's really a political move. I believe Gary Gensler is a Biden appointee. And with that being the case, you know that you're going to get some maneuvering and manipulating, unfortunately. But that's neither here nor there. I want to keep it on point with helping us understand that cryptocurrency adoption is about to take off. We're going to see, this bull run starting here in 2024. I think it could last for certain cryptocurrencies. It could last for years, a year or two, as we see these asset prices go up. And one of the main ones is XRP, made by Ripple Labs, who actually was sued by the SEC. I'm starting to realize just how manipulated the financial markets are. This past week with AMC and GameStop, but also with XRP and how the price of it has been suppressed for so long. It's really unfortunate. But that's why it is vital that, as we are, putting our hard-earned coins into assets that retain their store value, that we do our due diligence, as well as have our targets mapped out. Now, I mentioned XRP a little bit, and XRP, in my opinion, is the most robust blockchain technology around, and most applicable to the real world in regards to payments and payment solutions all around the globe, and creating an infrastructure that financial institutions can utilize to move their billions and trillions of dollars around the globe. That's Ripple's use case. And that is solving a $1 trillion problem that is being faced by financial institutions. They are the only cryptocurrency with regulatory clarity, as they have been dealing with this lawsuit with the SEC. And once this sham of a lawsuit in proceedings is over, we're going to see Ripple be able to operate with clarity and with being able to create and announce all the partnerships that they have. And they haven't even ICO'd. Now, Bitcoin has that first mover advantage. They are the OGs in the cryptocurrency game. And I don't want to take away from Bitcoin, but it doesn't have the functionality that XRP does, in the sense of being able to be used on a massive scale. It takes 10 minutes to complete one Bitcoin transaction, whereas XRP, the transaction happens within seconds. And also the fees that XRP charges are so much more less than Bitcoin's. So let's talk a little bit about XRP as I wrap up here. Just because I want for you to understand that it's not necessarily Bitcoin's adoption. Cryptocurrency in general is going to be adopted, but XRP is going to be adopted by the financial institutions that it's already partnered with, and plenty more. So I'm about to pull up an article and a report, and this report is from Amazon. We're talking about the world's largest online retailer, Amazon. AWS wrote this report. So let's take a look at it, see what they have to say. All right. So we see AWS there at the top left, their partner profile for Ripple. And it basically kind of gives some insight into RippleNet. It's a decentralized global network of banks and payment providers using Ripple's distributed financial technology, which provides real-time messaging, clearing, and settlement of financial transactions. Ripple connects banks, payment providers, digital asset exchanges, and corporates via RippleNet to provide one frictionless experience to send money globally. So that is a massive value add for any sort of financial institution, any payment provider, or even an exchange. And we see here as well as a corporation. So XRP has a couple of projects that it's working on. We got Xcurrent, Xrapid. I'm not going to go too deep into those, but high level, we're seeing Amazon talking about Ripple. I don't believe that Amazon will be talking about Ripple if it did not understand the future of the payments industry and of blockchain technology. They wouldn't be partnered with him. And also, they wouldn't be partnered with him if the price of it was not high, or the fixed price of it is not high. That's a better way to say it. You see, right now, in my opinion, XRP is being manipulated. The price is being suppressed. Doesn't make much sense as to why, but it is. And it's just because of pure manipulation. And also, once legislation gets on the books, I do think we're going to see a lot of price action for XRP. But Amazon knows that eventually Ripple is going to be integrated into its platform for payments. So let's look at some of these partners that Ripple has. Santander. Santander is an institution that has, I want to say, 5 million customers, and it's a bank, and they have over $40 billion in assets under management. Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, I want to say they have $6 billion in assets under management, or maybe that's just net revenue. But those two alone are put us at 100 billion, and this is not all of the partners that Ripple has. There's a lot of value add that Ripple brings, and they are really leading the way for adoption to happen for cryptocurrency, as we see that they are fighting the SEC in this sham lawsuit. Ever since 2020, it's been 4 years, a 4-year lawsuit. Honestly, holders of XRP deserve back pay for this foolishness. And we also see that they're starting to get involved with moving regulations and legislation, which is where the real money is spent, because once the regulations and legislation is put on the books, that gives clarity, that gives guidance, and that tells the financial institutions how they can operate. Massive stuff here. Massive. So I just want to encourage you to realize that, the adoption of cryptocurrency is coming, whether we like it or whether we don't. And it's important that we plan accordingly for this shift in the economy. I saw this earlier, and I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I'm just going to mention it, that there is a bill in the House of Representatives to abolish the Federal Reserve System and the Federal Reserve banks. This is major to me because, as we think about it, most of us have never been around without the central bank. So what would life look like without a central bank? Without these, paper dollars floating around and them monetizing debt on the United States? What would it look like? And it's something, in my opinion, what we talk about here on the Moneypot channel all the time is having assets that retain their store of value. Let's say, hypothetically, that the House of Representatives, that the Federal Reserve is abolished, and the central bank here in the United States is abolished, essentially. You're going to want to have assets that retain their store of value. Those dollar bills aren't going to have as much value. We're going to see a situation like how Zimbabwe did in 2007, when you see, crazy amounts of inflation. But when we think about it, if you already have assets that are retaining their store of value, I'm talking about land and real estate, which are cash flowing potentially, if you have commercial properties or rental properties, or even if you have agricultural lands. That is an asset that's going to retain its store value, and you can get paid for that. It doesn't have to be United States dollar bills. It can be getting paid in other forms of compensation. What else retains its store value? Silver and gold, precious metals that retain their store of value for centuries. Centuries they have. And they will continue to. Honestly, when I purchase silver, I don't look at it as an investment. I look at it as an exchange of currency, because in the future, I do see that silver will be able to be used for completing transactions because it has a store of value. Whether it's a silver necklace, whether it's an ounce of silver in a bar, or even gold and jewelry, it retains a store of value, and it's something that everybody can realize has value because there's only a finite supply of it. The Most High only put a finite amount of silver and gold and other sorts of precious metals on this earth. Commodities are going to retain their store of value because people are going to want to have certain types of foods and also water. But the big one that we talked about throughout this live was cryptocurrency having a store of value. That's important to realize because although, yes, we're moving into this new financial system and we are seeing, these shifts in the global economy, digital currency, whether we like it or not, is not going away. It's only going to continue to push more and more into the future, into the system that they're looking to create. So as we look at digital currency as an asset that retains its store of value, it also gives us the opportunity to engage in the economy and purchase assets or goods and services. But certain cryptocurrencies are going to retain their store of value over time. XRP, XLM, Stellar Lumens, HBAR, XDC, Bitcoin, of course. I believe that these are cryptocurrencies that I hold myself that are going to retain their store of value and are going to be useful, very useful, as we see this new financial system start to get rolled out. So, yeah, gold prices are very, very high. They've reached new all-time highs. And when I purchase gold, I don't look at it as an investment, but just changing over the currency. Now, the great thing about it, although it is like sort of an investment, we see that it's growing in value, which is really important. It's growing in value. Unfortunately, our United States dollar bills are not growing in value. And the one thing about money is that you can always get more of it. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind as you're just operating, as we are living in these unprecedented times that we are in. It's important to keep in mind what is going to retain its store of value. I don't know if that this bill to abolish the Federal Reserve is going to go through or not, even from the House of Representatives, but regardless, I think it's important to realize that de-dollarization is happening on a massive global scale. And we have to prepare ourselves for what could happen. So I encourage you to be diligent in your expenses. Of course, and above all things, put your trust, put your faith in the Most High. For he said he'll never leave us nor forsake us. And as we're living in these unprecedented times, we are going to need Yeshua all the more in our lives, putting our faith in him and just allowing him to be our provider. But let's be diligent in understanding these assets that are retaining their store of value and be mindful of these changes that are happening in the global economy.
Where we are about to, and I'll say this boldly, we're about to abandon the traditional system of money and accounting and introduce a new one. And the new accounting is what we call blockchain. It means digital. It means having a almost perfect record of every single transaction that happens in the economy, which will change where we are about to, and I'll say this boldly,
new accounting practices are coming. So let's prepare accordingly. I'll be putting out a lot more information on this new financial system and assets that retain their store of value throughout this year. So don't worry. And before I close out, I just want to make sure if there's any questions, please go ahead and ask them, or any comments or anything. I really do appreciate you all for tuning in here to the Moneypot YouTube live channel. Make sure that you share, subscribe, and like this video when you get the chance. But please, if you have any questions or comments or concerns about crypto, please let me know. Shoot me an email, comment on one of the videos. Try to be as responsive as possible. But these are unprecedented times that we're living in, and I thank the Most High for giving me the ability to understand finance. But as I'm learning more about blockchain technology, it is really imperative that we just be diligent in our finances, especially with this new financial system coming. So where I buy my silver blocks from is from a authorized dealer here in Atlanta. They are out of Chamblee. The website, here, I'll put it right here. It's called Alex Lexington. It's a black-owned gold and silver dealer, and I really like working with them. He's really knowledgeable, and he kind of explains a lot about what's behind the prices moving for silver as well as for gold. And his wife does jewelry, but I think I'm gonna try to work on planning some content with him just to do a deeper dive on silver and gold because I'm no expert, but he is. But yeah, I really enjoyed Alex Lexington. Yeah, and I encourage people to go check them out. Alrighty. Well, I thank you all for tuning in here. That is all that I have. Make sure that you stay blessed, stay healthy, and stay prayed up. Shalom. Peace.